It's Wake Up Nigeria, and we have some really exciting things coming your way on the show today. We have a package for you on the sustenance of culture.
We also have Mike bringing us some viral stories, and the delectable Toke Makima will be joining us after that.
Like
but first,
girl meets boy, they start to chat, they fall in love, and then along the line they decide to get married. Now, fire for fire. You have to plan.
Fire for fire. All right, but on standby is the top of the hour, and IK is standing by with the news.
Yomi, thank you. Now, about 20 deaths have been reported in the cholera outbreak in Borno State, with another 315 suspected cases still being treated. According to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, the disease has affected 6 areas in the state, with the Muna Garage IDP camp on the outskirts of the capital, Maiduguri, the most affected. After the investigation by the Borno State Ministry of Health, the World Health Organization, as well as some other agencies, cholera outbreak was eventually confirmed. And as a strike by the National Association of Resident Doctors continues, Minister of Health Isaac Adewale has directed heads of federal government hospitals to ensure that all other medical doctors are available to fill the vacuum created by the strike. Now, these include consultants and even youth corps doctors, as well as doctors on internship. The resident doctors started a total and indefinite industrial action on Monday in order to get the government to agree to a list of demands. They want an immediate payment of salary shortfalls experienced between January and May this year. They are also asking the government to stop its plan to stall the promotion of resident doctors. The strike could cripple services at the hospitals, but the minister says his directive ensures that the provision of health services continues. And there is cheering news now, and that was from yesterday, which shows that Nigeria has finally exited recession. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, the country's gross domestic product grew by 0.55% in the second quarter. In real terms, what it means is that the economy has posted growth in the last 5 consecutive quarters after the initial contraction that took place in the first quarter of 2016. In other stories, the federal government has reacted now to the news of Nigeria's exit from recession with cautious optimism. It says that it will continue to drive the country's economic growth by vigorously implementing the economic recovery and growth plan launched earlier this year by President Muhammadu Buhari. The overall economic plan and direction of the administration has resulted, among others, in sustained restoration of oil production levels, sustained growth in agriculture, mining, and the first growth recorded as a whole in the last 9 quarters since the last quarter of the year 2014. The 300 million naira suit filed slammed on the Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Idris and 3 others by suspected billionaire kidnapper Chukwudumeji Onwamadike, also known as Evans, challenging his continued detention, was on Tuesday adjourned until September the 21st. The Lagos Division of the Federal High Court, while adjourning the matter, held that there was no urgency for the suit to be heard during the court's vacation. Evans pleaded guilty to 2 counts of conspiracy and kidnapping when he was arraigned before a judge last week. In the fundamental rights enforcement suit that he filed before a Federal High Court, Evans sought a court order directing the police to charge him to court immediately or release him on bail. All right, that's the news update very quickly. We're going to bring you a weather update now to help you, of course, plan the rest of your day. And then thereafter, Yomi and Titi will be back.
One day. So
Wow.
Mike is on standby for the sports update.
And
I
hopefully,
know all of them are just smiling.
we're smiling. Why are you boning now?
Especially Beyonce and MM. I don't know why MM is actually laughing. Anyways, Nigerian coach Alex Moore has released the final 12-man roster for the FIBA Afro-Basket tournament, which dunks off on Friday. The squad is made up of 10 foreign-based players led by Captain Ike Diogu, who is the only member of a title-winning squad in 2015. Others are Deji Akindele, Kelechi Anuna, and Washington Wizards forward Daniel Ochefo. Players from the domestic league include Musa Usman, Abdul Yahaya, DK Azuoma, and Victor Anthony. The team will depart for Tunis today. The 2017 Afro-Basket tournament is jointly hosted by Tunisia and Senegal. The Tigers will begin their campaign in Group A against Ivory Coast in Radis on September 8. Mali and DR Congo are the other teams in the group. Juan Martin Del Potro came back from 2 sets down and saved 2 match points to beat 6th seed Dominic Thiem in Iraq's US Open Classic. The 24th seed cheered on by a large Argentine contingent on the grandstand court 1, 1-6, 2-6, 6-1, 7-6, 7-1, 6-4. Despite feeling ill and requiring treatment, he came through in 3 hours and 35 minutes to set up a quarterfinal against Roger Federer. The Swiss 3rd seed beat Germany's Philipp Kohlschreiber 6-4, 6-2, 7-5. Elsewhere, Russian teenager Andrei Rublev knocked out Belgian 9th seed David Goffin to set up a US Open quarterfinal with Rafael Nadal. Rublev won 7-5, 7-6, 7-5, 6-3 to become the youngest man to reach the last 8 at Flushing Meadows since Andy Roddick in 2001. Nadal saw for Ukraine's Alexander Dolopolov 6-2, 6-4, 6-1 in just 1 hour and 41 minutes in New York. And then to boxing, Bulgaria's Kubrat Pulev has confirmed he will face Britain's IBF and WBA heavyweight world champion Anthony Joshua in Cardiff on the 28th of October. The 36-year-old is the mandatory challenger for Joshua's IBF title. The Bulgarian added, Anthony Joshua is a great and dangerous rival. The bout has not been confirmed by Joshua's team, with the promoter Eddie Hearn stating an announcement will be made on Tuesday. Cardiff's Principality Stadium is expected to host the bout 6 months after Joshua stopped Vladimir Klitschko at a sold-out Wembley Stadium in April to add the WBA title to the IBF he claimed in 2016. Klitschko delivered the only defeat of Pulev's 26-fight career in 2015, but the Bulgarian has since won 5 fights in a row, taking him to a position as the IBF's mandatory challenger. And then on to some interesting news. Atletico Madrid manager Diego Simeone has signed a new 3-year deal that would see him remain at the club till 2020. Atletico confirmed his renewal through the official Twitter account. The Argentine had been linked with a switch away from the club, but then Simeone has won the La Liga title, Copa del Rey, Spanish Super Cup, Europa League and UEFA Cup with Atletico Madrid since he arrived in 2011. He has recorded 200 wins, drawn 67 times and lost 54 in the 321 games he has managed Atletico. And then on to a review of the Euro qualifiers for the World Cup. World champions Germany maintained their 100% record in the qualifiers by thrashing Norway 6-0 to stay top of Group C in Europe. Mesut Ozil opened the scoring by firing in before the Arsenal man turned provider for Julian Draxler. Timo Werner found the net twice before the interval, after which Leon Goretzka and Mario Gomez both nodded in. In the same group, Azerbaijan beat San Marino 5-1. Northern Ireland defeated Czech Republic 2-0 to stay in second place. Poland stayed top of Group E with a comfortable 3-0 victory over Kazakhstan. England survived the scare as they came from behind to beat Slovakia at Wembley and take a giant stride towards qualification. Scotland beat Malta to move within a point of second-place Slovakia in World Cup qualifying Group F. And that's it on the sports update this morning.
Don't say it. Don't say
The
it.
bomb and the dynamite.
Mike.
You have papers up next, right?
Yeah,
Yes, we do.
we do.
Thanks so
Okay.
much, Mike, for that update. So we're taking a look, another look at the newspaper headlines this morning. The Guardian has a headline: Nigerians must feel impact of exiting recession, says Buhari. You can see that on the cover of The Guardian. And then presidency welcomes news with cautious optimism. How to sustain economic recovery by experts. And also NMA resident doctors divided over strike. Meet today to resolve lingering issues. More hospitals join, others shun industrial action. NCDC confirms 20 cholera deaths, 319 suspected cases in Borno. Federal government cancels today's FEC meeting. APC and loss of innocence in Anambra governorship primary. That's a feature there. And then finally, indices sustain sliding profile, depreciates further by 20 billion naira. All that on the cover of The Guardian.
And on the Daily Sun this morning, it says, patients groan as doctors strike bites. You're not patriotic. Ore Falomo chides doctors. Teaching hospitals provide skeletal services. You can read up more about that on page 10. Don't rejoice yet. Economists tell Nigerians regarding the recession exit. We'll treat recovery with caution, says presidency. Lagos Trade Fair complex concession. Stakeholders slam federal government over revocation. That's on page 7. I won't mind dining with the devil to keep Lagos safe, says CP Edgar. All right, that's all we have here, apart from a picture of the president and the visiting president of Niger Republic right there on the cover of the Daily Sun.
All right, and then a couple of the headlines that were brought to you earlier from The Punch. Chief Justice of Nigeria, Okonjo-Iweala, Fayemi, Fayose, others under probe. That's by the EFCC. And then Patience Jonathan, Kogi Governor, Akpabio, Abati, Okupe on the list. And then a couple of other stories on the cover of The Punch. Buhari cancels FEC meeting over Salah holidays. Clark berates Kanu over Biafra, condemns Ariwa quit notice. Restructuring, El Rufai's panel calls for memoranda. Nigerian president visits Buhari in Daura. Ex-Edo speaker returns cars to retrieve SUV from buyer. And then Buhari economists, others caution against celebrating Nigeria's exit from recession. And finally, federal government ASU meet on Thursday. NAN's factions exchange blows in Abuja. That's all on the cover of The Punch.
On the Vanguard, it says, exit from recession nice if felt by ordinary Nigerians, says Buhari. Statistics not reality, says PDP. Recession still on, says maritime operators. Economy running below par, still tied to oil, says NESG, LCCI, and others. The doctors strike here. Families evacuate patients as federal government move to resolve rift. 55 husbands reported being battered by wives in Lagos, says the AG.
That's a serious
It's
story.
a big word there, battered. SMH. Federal government to take over, sell unoccupied houses in Abuja. That's on page 9. And regarding the strike, federal government and ASU to meet tomorrow. Although it says no FEC meeting today, that's Lai Mohammed speaking there. You can find out more about that on page 9. And quite a bit more on the cover of the Vanguard.
All right, and that's it on the headlines. The newspaper headlines is proudly supported by Dettol. Be 100% sure.
time for a short break now. We have a feature for you when you come back. You need to stay right there.
Welcome back. Now, the need to sustain the cultures and traditions of a people is very vital, as it is with the sustenance of the source of a people that a future is assured.
Adaeze International Cultural Troupe seeks to do this by sustaining the traditional Igbo dances. Let's take a look at this package put together by Ozzy Okoli.
The art of sustaining the cultural tradition of any society depends on the constant practice of the various activities of that culture. In Enugu State of Southeast Nigeria, one of the ways to sustain, teach, and inculcate some of the basic elements of cultural traditions from one generation to another is dance.
We are from Ngwo, Enugu State. So we put this in together in order not to let our culture die away. As you can see, culture everywhere is moving away. So we're here to protect and preserve our own culture. That's why we're doing this. For the past 30 years, we've been doing this. For the past 30 years, if I'm not mistaken. We've been doing it for the past 30 years. We are passing this from generation to generation. My father passed this to me. As you can see, I'm passing it to a younger generation. It's a combination of young men and ladies. Lady of all sizes. You can see that big one, you can see small one, you can see slim one. Even the guys, you can see heavy guys, the slim ones. So we are trying to push it continuously. So we want to make it move. When Malosu was alive, he didn't have any person to succeed him in his family. So he asked the community to use this masquerade to remember him as Malosu, the Wonder Masquerade. That's how about the masquerade. My father passed this to me. He taught us the way to put up your steps and they put your hand like that, like that. So that's how we put it together. So all of us, we are from one village.
With the zeal and passion of Adaeze International Cultural Troupe in Ngwo, Enugu State, the extension of Igbo traditional dances will not be possible.
Great reporting there by Ozzy Okoli. Now over to Mike for viral stories.
All right, thank you, Yomi. Good morning. So we're taking some viral stories today. There's quite a lot going on around at every time, so we just got to pick a few of them that might just interest you, okay? Now, first up, Mark Zuckerberg writes a heartwarming letter to his newborn daughter, August. Now, you know that it's no longer news that Facebook co-founder and CEO Mark Zuckerberg welcomed a new daughter, August. Well, I don't know about the name anyway. So if it was this month, it would have been September. But then he took a 2-month paternity leave to be with his family. Now, what is trending is the emotional open letter he wrote to her on his page. Now, it has become a tradition after, of course, giving birth to Max. He wrote a letter, and this time, this letter is off the hook. Now, let me just quote some parts of the letter. The world can be a serious place. That's why it's important to make time to go outside and play. You'll be busy when you're older. So I hope you take time to smell all the flowers and put all the leaves you want in your bucket now. Childhood is magical. You only get to be a child once. I like that part. So don't spend it worrying too much about the future. You've got us for that. Oh, wow. Now I feel like having a baby girl. All right. Now, we will do everything we possibly can to make sure the world is a better place for you and all children in your generation. Now, that is quite lovely. I'm looking forward to the letter MM is going to write. But then, while they received congratulatory messages from all over the world, a Nigerian man named Amo Joshua Oluwatimileyin had this to say. Now, he put up this comment under Mark Zuckerberg's letter. He goes this way: why do you give birth to daughters alone? No one to inherit your family name, and your wealth will be for another son name. Mark's sperm is full of XX. Really? Like, seriously? But then, hey, come on. You know, we Nigerians, we know how to find the humor in everything. So that was just, I think it was not necessary. But then, hey, that's who we are. Okay, moving on from that. Now, this is a very, very interesting story, all right? It's a story about firefighters who saved piglets and then some months later ate those sausages that were made from those pigs. All right, now, in February, that's this year, a group of baby pigs were rescued from a barn fire in Wiltshire, United Kingdom. Now, but that rescue effort was apparently only temporary. Now, you can see all of that here. It was quite serious fire. Now, to thank the firefighters who saved the little pigs several months ago, some few weeks back, the farmer who owned that particular barn gave the rescue team sausages made from the grown animals. The 18 piglets were 2 weeks old when they were saved, along with 2 sows. And then, well, look at it. Rivers, the farmer, explained that at the time, he told them that he would give them to eat. And, well, he actually did. Now, while people have been in shock, he defended the action, saying it was a good way to pay back the firefighters. The firefighters were touched by the edible gesture and extremely grateful to the farmer for the token of her appreciation, which they expressed on the Facebook page. But then, that post was actually taken down. Now, let's look at it this way. I mean, it's quite funny, but then I don't really think it's a big deal. You mean you saved the pigs to eat them later? But then, in any ways, it was a farm, a pig farm. So whichever way, they were being, how do I put it now? They're being grown to be eaten. That's just the irony of everything, okay? Now to an inspiring story that has been trending over the past week. It's the story of an 18-year-old lady, Nasra Haji, from Iran, who made history by becoming the first ever female mechanic in Somalia. Now, interestingly, becoming a mechanic was never her dream. She says it never even crossed her mind when she still was a child, especially because only men were doing that kind of work. Now, her interest in the men's job started when she embarked on a desperate job hunting mission across the country's capital, Mogadishu. Now, while working as an apprentice, she was able to acquire numerous skills that would later help her become a professional in the job. Today, Nasra has a growing portfolio of clients that are looking for her services. She has practically debunked the stereotype that only boys can become mechanics in Somalia. It has not been easy, as she has also had to deal with criticisms and ridicules along the way from those who think that she is in the wrong place. So now let's know what you think about any of these stories, all right? You can hit us up on our social media handles. It's at TVC Connect on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Is it the first female mechanic in Somalia, or is it about the piglets that were eating for sausages later, or is it the first story about Mark Zuckerberg's letter? But then, that's much you can take on viral stories today. Now, let's catch up with MM, who I'm looking forward to seeing her letter, and Miyonsi in the kitchen. I hope our beans is ready.
Yes, we are ready, right? Miyonsi answering.
Yes, we are. So this was done, but, I just had to take it off. So we're bringing it. It was almost done. Yeah.
Okay, so before we go on about what we're cooking, what are we making again?
Yes, we're making mashed beans and seafood pepper sauce.
Yes.
So,
Ewa going in quotes.
so what we did was cook the palm oil. I won't say bleach, but we did something with the palm oil. Let's say bleach.
We have
bleach the palm oil. Vegetable oil. We added a bit of vegetable oil. Then we chopped our onions, habanero, and tomatoes, and we cooked it down. When it was almost done, we added our smoked fish and shrimps. That is why it is seafood.
Okay.
That is why it's seafood sauce. So this is actually done. We're just going to let it heat up a little and take it off while we fry our plantains.
Okay. And let's not forget that we have our beans already ready, right?
We
our
cooked
matched beans.
We cooked that for about 1 hour, 30 minutes.
Okay.
With a bit of onions. While I watched my mom cooked, I noticed she's always adding onions to the beans.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, why do you add onions?
While it boils?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she said, okay, it cooks the beans faster.
Oh, it does?
Yes.
You know, I didn't know that. Now I'm going to try it. I'm cooking beans tonight, and I'm definitely going to add onions to my beans. Because it's frustrating when it takes so long. Because I'm like...
You really do not add onions?
No, I don't.
Wow.
Okay. Lesson learned today.
So, yes. So we added onions to it, and when it was almost ready, we added a bit of salt to it. Okay. So you don't need to over-salt this because this is also tasty. And you don't need to make this one too tasty because this is salted. So everything has to complement.
Balance.
Yes. There should be, you should complement everything.
Okay.
So really...
that looks yummy, by the way. And very colorful. It's so nice when food looks colorful. Oh, my gosh.
And it smells nice.
And it smells, yeah.
I like the smell. Yeah. But I can't taste this because I'm allergic to... Yeah. I have seafood allergy, but I'm sure it tastes good. Has a good sense of smell. Taste.
Yes, and taste too, because I like food.
But yeah, they were just talking about Zuckerberg's...
Oh yeah, talking about that.
So let's hear your own letter.
Right. When we get there.
So right now, the seafood pepper sauce is ready.
Yes.
It is ready.
So we're getting our plantain ready.
Yes. So like I said, the plantain it's a side to this dish. Like
side attraction.
Yes, it's a side. You don't necessarily have to have it with plantain. You could have it with bread roll or agege bread.
Yeah.
Or
I would rather have mine with agege bread.
Or you could have it with yam, like she said. But I think that's knockout. I noticed that whenever I eat bread and beans, it's like knockout. Like I just sleep off.
Yes. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, you just had a good meal.
Like
it's
I sleep off.
It's satisfying, you know.
So there's this issue of salting your plantains or not. Do you salt your plantains?
Yes, I do. I don't only salt. I season it because I'm like, all that, it has to get in because I want to taste every bit. Everything I put in my mouth has to taste
Some
good.
people have a problem with adding salt to their plantains.
Oh, no, I don't.
Like, they're like, no, why do you want to add salt? I was reading on my timeline on Twitter, they're like, no, you don't add salt to plantain. No, yes, you should add salt to plantain.
All right, so while we're still making up our mind if we're going to add salt to this plantain or not, and, well, Mionce's going to fry it, we'll go on a quick commercial break. And, well, we have an interesting guest, Toke Makinwa, joining the Yomi and Titi on the couch. Stay with us. It's the Wake Up Nigeria show.